Hi everyone, good to see you all. I intended to record this presentation from the Big Business Breakfast Club on Friday last week, but my phone ran out of storage, so the recording didn't work. So I'm filming this video to go through the presentation again for everyone that would like to see it. Good thing is I can add in a couple of, oh, noisy dog. I can add in a couple of slides that I actually skipped in that presentation because of time limitations, and we can take a little bit more time to actually go through the process that I'm about to describe, which is how to spy on your competitors' Facebook adverts, Meta, Instagram and Facebook adverts. So let me share my screen and we can get going on this. Okay, here we go. Lovely. Let's get this presentation going. Cool. So, obviously, this was the Big Steps for Small Businesses. We do this education slot every month at the Big Business Breakfast Club. I'm Alex. If you don't know already, this is my LinkedIn profile. You probably should. Owner of Marketing 101, marketing consultant, presenter, host, education speaker. So, if any of that's of interest, get in contact. The people at the event had my lovely shiny business cards from Printlord. Thank you, Jim Cunliffe. Cool. So it's January, and in January we get a lot of inquiries at Marketing 101. New year, new business, or new business ideas, or new ideas for marketing. So when people are considering digital marketing, these are the kind of questions they often ask us. So, which platform should I be on? How much should I be spending? What kind of adverts or messaging should I be using? How can I stand out amongst my competitors? And of course, can your budget actually compare? Can you afford to compete? So, a really good thing, and we can't go through all of that today. I will do some more presentations on this, I'm sure. But a really good way to help you answer a lot of those questions is to spy on your competitors, see what they're up to, and see whether you can kind of compete, what you can get from that information. So there's loads of places to spy. I'm just going to be doing the top two today, so Facebook and Meta adverts, and then how to get retargeted, which is really useful. But down the line, we can look at SEO, how to see if they're investing in SEO and what they're doing. Their Google and Google adverts, TikTok adverts, and some other tools as well. So we'll tackle those at another time. But today, I'm just talking about Facebook and Meta adverts. So Facebook and Instagram lumped together as Meta after the purchase many years back. So the first thing you need to do is navigate to the Facebook page of a competitor. I've just chosen Soho House. Obviously, they're not a competitor of ours, but they're a brand that most of you will be aware of. And surprise, surprise, they are running adverts. And that's what I was looking for. So this is the complex bit, and why a lot of you will be here is remembering which buttons to press. There's loads of information on Meta, on Facebook, that you can find out about your competitors, but they tend to bury it a little bit. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to click on About. So we're going to click on that and find this information. A bit of information about the business, not a great deal, so we need to click a bit deeper. This page here, this button here, page transparency, click there, and it's going to take you through to this page, the page transparency page. Again, some information, but not a great deal going on. So then the first thing of use is that it says there, this page is currently running adverts. So when you get to your competitors, this is where you want to go, see if they're running adverts. And if they are, then you can click the See All button, and that will take you through to a bigger page transparency page. As I said, they really bury this information, but it's always going to be there as long as they're running adverts. A bit more information, but actually what we want to do is click on Go to Library. So we're going to go to the ad library. And what this takes you through to is this page. This is just the top of the page. There was lots more below it. And as you can see, first of all, these are the adverts that Soho House and Co. launched in December 2024. So they've been running about a month. If you scroll down, you see the ones that they launched in November, September, October, etc. You get the idea. And we'll have a look at an older one in a second. But first of all, the information on this page that we find interesting. First of all, the advert is active, so that's good to know. No surprise, it's a month old. But when we look at older adverts, if they're still active, that's really useful, and we'll talk about that. You can see here when they launched the advert. So they launched these three, all of them on the 10th of December. And you can see what platforms they're advertising to. So again, when you're looking at your own competitors, this can be really useful. Do they find Facebook and Instagram is useful, as Soho House do, or are they just doing Facebook or just doing Instagram? So useful information for your own adverts. This here is interesting. So within this kind of little advert set, they've got two adverts running. So you could click on see summary details, and these adverts will pop up a bit bigger. So you'll see images slightly bigger, and you'll be able to see what two adverts they're doing with the set within the set. Now, because these three adverts have all been launched at the same time and they're all very similar, you would refer to them as an advertising campaign. Okay, so we've got three ad sets within the campaign. And we know that because they're all promoting the Soho house in West Hollywood. Okay, all three are the same and they all launched at the same time. So we call this a campaign. So the last thing that's useful on this page is we can see the content that they're using. So you can see the copy, and the copy is the same. The everyone is welcome bit is the same on the middle advert and the right-hand advert. And on the left-hand advert, they've gone inquire about our offices. So that's the first thing we can garner from this is that they're kind of A/B testing. So they're seeing which bit of copy works best, the shorter or the longer, and what they've included in that. So that's what they're testing. Of course, we can see the image. They seem to really like this image. It's the same on all their adverts historically, so not much that we can tell there, but you can see what kind of images your competitors are using. And then the final thing on this page is right down the bottom of each of these adverts, we can see the call to action, which is in two parts. First of all, you've got the button, which is the call to action, contact us. They've done the same across all three. But the second part of the call to action is the copy that they've used, the words that they're trying to use to inspire you to click on the contact us button. On the left, it just says inquire now. In the middle, it says monthly plans from $9 a day. And then on the right, join now from 200 a month. So that you can see exactly what they're trying to test here. They're trying to test, is it better to not show the money, inquire now? Is it better to show the daily money, $9 a day? Or is it better to show the monthly rate, $200 a month? So you can really start to see what your competitors are testing and what they're including in their adverts. Before we go to an older advert, there's another button on this page here. So when you arrive, it's going to have this automatic filter. You can see above there's some you can click on filters and see what other kind of things you can filter, and you can save that search for the future. But underneath, it's auto filtered to active ads. Now that's really useful to see what they're running, especially with what I'm going to show you in a second with a historic advert, a historic active advert. But if you click that cross there, then you'll be able to see all the adverts that they've stopped running. So you can get a lot of information there. Was it an advert that just ran for a few days or for a month and then they stopped it? Probably not a successful advert, right? And so you can look at that and try and figure out why didn't that advert work? Or were they running an advert over Christmas last year, which is now paused, of course, or they've cancelled it, but they ran it for 3 months in the run up to Christmas. Perhaps your competitor is seasonal like that and you are as well. So you can start to see some really interesting information. So now we're going to go to an older advert. First thing to point out here is it's still active. And secondly, the date was the 7th of June, 2024. So this advert has been turned on since the 7th of June. So 7 months now this has been live. There is a chance they turned it off and turned it back on again, and we're not going to be able to see that, unfortunately. But quite often the likelihood, I would say, is that they've been running this advert for all of that time. So what can we garner from that? This is probably a successful advert. So quite often when looking at your competitors, you want to go back in time and see the adverts that were run for a really long period of time or are still running now to see the successful adverts rather than the most recent ones. So again, we can see on there all the content they were using, what theme or style, what product are they focusing on. So here they're focusing on book a tour. So it's kind of a freebie, right? It's an incentive. So they're focusing on book a tour. What audience segment are they trying to appeal to? We've got information here like overlook the city, enjoy a breakfast. This is actually for the New York Soho House. So meeting spaces in Dumbo and the meatpacking district. So maybe here they're trying to appeal to your more kind of hipster or yuppie types. And again, what CTA call to action seems to be working best? Book a tour and book now. So the freebie, the incentive, seems to be what's working best on this advert that's been running for a long time. So that's the first place you can spy on your competitor adverts. We've got loads of information already to use. By the way, what I'm going to suggest, and I'll come back on this, is that when you do this, you make a list of maybe 10 competitors and you do this for all of them. So it's a couple of hours work. You've got to bed down and settle in and do this several times because just one competitor is not going to give you enough actionable insight. But if you put all of your competitors onto a spreadsheet and have some columns like theme or style, a description of the image, what product are they focusing on, when were they running adverts from the last page, what are they A/B testing, what audience are they going for, what call to actions are working, then you're going to be able to fill out of a spreadsheet and start to see the commonalities between all of your competitors' adverts. So that's the first place. The second place you can see competitor adverts is just on your Facebook feed. So go back to your homepage, start scrolling. Every 3 posts is an advert, or one every 4, something like that, 3 or 4. So on your Facebook feed, as long as you're kind of behaving partly with your business brain, sometimes on Facebook, then you're going to see adverts for things within your industry. The first, and we can fix that if you're not seeing what you see, industry adverts, competitor adverts, we can go and fix that. We'll come back to that in a second. So the first interesting thing about the Facebook feed is you can see how successful this advert is from an engagement perspective. You can't see that on the ad library, but here we can see they've got 157 likes, 154 comments. No idea how long this advert's been running for at the moment, but it's quite well engaged. So you can start to see maybe what you can have some guesswork, right? Or some educated guesses. What's working here? Is it punchy? Is it colorful? Is it the 5-star ratings? Is it that it's cheap, very cheap social media? Maybe I wouldn't go with these guys personally. That sounds like a very low amount of money for your social media. Talk to me instead. But what's really interesting here, now I guarantee hardly anybody watching this video has ever done this, is you can click on the 3 dots at the top of this advert. It's going to bring up this little menu. The first interesting thing we can see is the view edit history. So any good marketing team or agency is going to be editing adverts throughout time to improve them, right? So you can click on there. I haven't done it in this presentation, but you can click on there and you can see you can scroll down to the bottom, the very original version of the advert. So the first time they sent it live. Then you can see every time they've edited it, which is quite interesting. But probably the best thing you can do is screenshot the very original advert and put it side by side, screenshot the latest version of the advert, the one you've just seen on your feed, and you can see the differences. It might be in the copy, the call to action might have changed, the image might have changed. Quite often it's in the list that, a lot of adverts include USP lists. Quite often it's in there, but you can see what they had originally and what they've got now. And you'd like to think, although again, we're kind of, guessing here, but you'd like to think that these marketers are improving the adverts over time. So what is it on the latest version is what they consider to be the most likely to get engagements or conversions or whatever. So you can see all that change history. The other really cool thing you can do here is, why am I seeing this ad? Okay, so this is the hidden bit that we'd all love to know about our competitors, but most of it is here for you to see. Officially, this section is for data privacy, GDPR purposes. They need to be, Facebook has to be transparent, Meta has to be transparent about why they're showing you an advert. But for us as marketers and for spying on your competitors, this is really useful. So click on that and we're going to get 2 sections, advertiser choices and your activity. So next to advertiser choices, you can see, a bit blurry, but the logo of the business. So what that means is this is what they chose as their audience. So when you're making an advert in the back end of Meta, you choose some defining demographic options to show your advert to the right people. And the second section here, your activity, you can see the Meta logo next to that. And what that tells us is this is how Meta has decided to show you the advert. So it used to be that it would just be the advertiser choices. They would say, show my advert to these people, and that would be as far as it goes. But these days, for quite a while now, what you tend to do is go a bit broader as an advertiser with your selections, and you let the Meta algorithm do the rest. So let's take a look at that now. So these guys were really broad. They just said they want adults 18 and older, and they want them in a primary location in the UK. So that's basically cities and towns, right? So that's all that they've chosen. That's their advertiser choice. It's very, very broad. So they're kind of leaving it up to Meta. So this is the Meta section on the right, your activity. So it's shown this advert to me because I previously interacted with ads about productivity, live theatres on there a couple of times, and I've also interacted with adverts about ads and marketing. Okay, so that's the first thing to do. If you want to improve your feed and see your competitors, you want to interact with adverts in your industry, right? Weirdly, it also said I interacted with pages and posts about music, art, festivals, and event planning. I don't know what that's got to do with cheap social media services, but anyway, we've got the information. And hopefully, with your competitors, especially if your competitors are smaller, more local, small to medium, then they're going to be going a bit more niche on both of these areas. Whereas these guys, I think they're just being really broad, throwing a really kind of wide net here. Now, um, on the left, the advertiser choices, that's not much use, right? You can't take much information from that for your own audience when you're making your own adverts. So I found a couple of other adverts and did the advertiser choices, just the advertiser choices here with a bit more information. So I saw an advert from Search Atlas. I think they were selling SEO, and they've got more detail. And again, so if you see this kind of detail with your competitors, this is where the juice is. This is where it's really useful. So they obviously they've added in English speakers they want to show the advert to, and they've gone more niche on the age, 25 to 45. So again, you see this on your competitors, you know what age range they're going after. And they've put a city in the UK. Age and location are standard with meta advertising. So you're going to see that probably all the time. On the right-hand side, this is another advert, advertiser choices from Cloud Campaign. I think they were doing CRM, if I remember correctly. They've got the same, a primary location in the UK. They've set their age from 22 to 60, so basically adults, but not teenagers and kids, not people who are retired. Makes sense. And they've got the English again. They want people speaking English because their advert is in English. But they've added one more. So they've added some interest based, which is they want to show it to people, which therefore includes me, who have previously shown an interest in social media marketing and the American Marketing Association and more. So you can start to really see, we've learned all about the advert itself. Now we can see who they've decided to show the advert to. Really, really useful information. So that's your Facebook feed. The third place we can go to spy on our competitors is the URL up here is facebook.com/ads/library. So here, you're being shown every advert that is live on Facebook at the moment, and then you're going to do some searching and filtering. So you can choose the location. Obviously, I chose United Kingdom. You can't drill any deeper, unfortunately. So therefore, you can choose an ad category as well. Like it might be something like politics or social housing or I don't know, medical. The drop down there will give you some choices, which could be useful. I just went with all ads, and then I searched for social media Brighton and you can see it returned 59 results. Now, what this search is doing, it's searching the copy within every advert. So you might not always get a direct hit. There might be some adverts in these 59 that aren't actually selling social media in Brighton, but they've definitely got the words social media Brighton. So as you scroll through, you're going to have to use a bit of nous here. But what's really cool about this is that we're now discovering new competitors. I've never heard of Adams Tot Coach or maybe Adams to TT Coach. I don't know exactly what that is, but here he is in Brighton. He's not just advertising in Brighton, he's got an event in Brighton on the 22nd of January. Where are we? What's the date today? 21st, maybe 20th. So he's got an event on the 22nd of January for a one-day workshop, absolutely free. Finally crack the code of social media and turning followers into paying clients. So that sounds good. Go and get that if this video comes out in time. That sounds good. But he launched these adverts, and in fact, you can see here as well, 6 ads use this creative, 5 ads use this. So even more than just those 3. He launched them in January. So again, you can see all the information about the advert, what they're selling, how they're selling it. They're doing video content. You can see all that information there, some call to action stuff as well. So a really cool place to come and check out adverts in particular for competitors that you might not be aware that you had in the first place. So we're pretty much there. Those are the locations where you can stalk your competitors and see everything they're doing for their adverts and their target audience. But to help fix your feed, so if you're not, it's kind of for 2 reasons. First of all, if you're not seeing competitor adverts on your feed, and also this is harking right back to the beginning of this presentation where we were talking about how much to spend, like can you compete? A really good indicator of whether a business is properly investing in marketing, in their meta advertising, is are they doing retargeting? Because retargeting is a little bit complex, okay? So most businesses will mess around with posting to social media, or not even mess around. Sorry, it's a bit rude. Do it properly. Some of them will do boosted posts and run their own advertising, but most of them don't do retargeting because it's just one layer more complexity of running actual adverts. And remember, when we're talking about adverts, it's different to boosting. Boosting is make a post, publish it, press the button, put some money behind it. Advertising is where you go into Meta for Business and you design multiple adverts, all for the one thing. So you're selling one thing, you're going to sell it in 5, 10, sometimes we do up to 20 variations, 20 different ways, different images, different copy, different call to actions. Use emojis, don't use emojis. Try a video instead of a photo. Try a plain text advert. And then the algorithm decides which of those adverts is working the best once you've launched them all, and then it weights your budget towards them. And then you go in, you turn off the worst performing. Anyway, if you're doing that and then you're doing retargeting is like the next level above. So if they're doing retargeting, they've probably got a really good internal team of marketers, or they're using an agency because they're going to that next level. So it's well worth A, figuring out if they're doing retargeting, and B, if they are doing retargeting, then you will see their posts on your feed and you can interrogate them in that second way that we showed of how to interrogate, how to click the 3 dots on their advert. So how to get retargeted, go to their website. So web retargeting is all about those cookies that we all know about, where they plant, if you visit their website, they plant a cookie in your on your computer or in your browser, and then their adverts will start showing to you in other areas around the internet. With Meta, it's called a pixel. So the pixel, where you land on their website, visit their website, browse a few pages, stay for a few minutes, act like a potential customer, and the pixel will get lodged into your computer. And then when you go back to Facebook, you should start to see their adverts. The other thing I would do is visit their Facebook page as well. So do their website, browse, go to their Facebook page, make sure you're following it, maybe engage with a post or two, like or comment, just to give the pixel every chance of going, this is a potential customer. Make sure to keep a list of these people that you do this for. So you've got your list of competitors, put a tick against them if you're trying to figure out whether they're retargeting, because it might not happen straight away. But over the next few weeks, keep an eye on your Facebook feed. If by the end of those few weeks you haven't seen any of their adverts, put a cross against their name. They're probably not retargeting. It's not guaranteed, but probably not retargeting. If you do see their adverts, then they're doing Facebook Meta retargeting, and obviously click and investigate their adverts. You get that extra level of detail about who they're targeting. Great stuff. But also put a tick against their name. They're doing retargeting, and therefore they're a competitor who is probably taking Meta advertising seriously. And that in itself is really good to know. You can have a think about how big is this competitor? What size are they? And am I similar to them? Am I of a similar size where I should be taking Meta advertising really, really seriously? So really, really useful information there. And that's everything for now. So with all that information, this lovely spreadsheet of all your competitor data that you've now discovered, we now know about your competitors. When are they running adverts? What periods are they running them for? Or when are they launching them? That could be really helpful with your seasonality and when you should be running adverts. What are they actually selling from their catalog of products or services? Or are they using an incentive? If they sell a variety of services, but they're always pushing the same one in their adverts, it's probably because that works either as a foot across the door kind of thing, a bit of a lead gen for them to then sell other services, or just because it's their most successful service. So that's really useful. What images and copy they use, so exactly how are they designing their adverts, what call to actions are working for them. Really importantly, which adverts have worked. So they've been left on for a long time and therefore they're still active and they're working, or they were on for a whole 3, 4, 5 month period back in time. And which ones have got likes and comments and shares on them. So because that means it's successful because we're seeing engagement. So people are actually liking these adverts. What ad elements do they A/B test? So that you might decide to do the same and test those elements for yourself. Probably the most important, who are they targeting? What age, what location, what interests and activities, what prior engagements, as in what posts and pages have they been engaging with? So you can set that yourself in the back end. And finally, new competitors. By searching the ad library, you've found maybe some new competitors to add to your list and interrogated their adverts as well. It's got loads and loads of information. And of course, we can use that to either take inspiration from your competitors' adverts, the ones that were working really well and what wasn't, when you're designing your own adverts. Maybe you want to fit in, Or maybe you want to stand out. Maybe you can spot a gap. They haven't tried this. None of my competitors are doing video for their adverts, so let's give that a go. So how to stand out amongst your competitors. And that's everything on how to spy with Meta on your competitor adverts. Hopefully that helps you figure out whether you might want to try ads yourself, or if you're already doing advertising, go and make some changes, improve them, kind of refine and grow, either refine or grow your own advertising. If you've got any questions, of course, Marketing 101 does sell Meta advertising. We'd love to talk to you. We'd love to see if we can help grow your leads, grow your customer base through Meta advertising. So pop any questions to me. My email address is alex at, and then the URL here, marketing-101.co.uk. You can find me on LinkedIn. You can find me on Instagram. Lots of colorful photos on Instagram of me in glorious jackets and things like that. Not too much business on it, but come and hang out anyway. Thank you very much. I hope that was helpful. And we'll speak again soon. Ciao for now. Bye.